and almost all the talks got entered into a very exciting mode now. So now you can see most of the component of all the problems are getting more combinatorial, and that attract most of the attention of the participant. So today I start with one of the combinatorial problem, which is known as max cut problem in graph theory. Okay, let me just describe what is the statement of this particular problem through the particular example. So you can see a graph on the board. I have labeled the vertices and as well as labeled the edges. And if you look at this particular graph, so its vertex at, so if this is my graph G, so vertex set of G is nothing just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a graph on 5 vertices, okay? Now, the main thing is that I can partition the vertices set in the, for instance, I do this partition. Similarly, I can partition the vertices like that. Okay, now see what partitioning is doing with the edges. So now I need to identify those edges which are being cut by the partition. Just think about the 1, 4 is 1, 2. Okay, firstly, this particular thing. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. So either an edge will be inside this particular partition, or it can lie on the boundary of this particular partition. So for instance, this partition is cutting the graph, is cutting which edges? Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, it is 1, 2 is already inside this, so it is not being cut. 2, 3 is already in this partition, so it is not being cut. 1, 3 is already in this partition, so it is not being cut. But what about 2, 4 edge? So 2, 4 is an edge whose one vertex is here, but the other is here. So 2, 4 is being cut. So this give me the cut set, and the cut is, this is nothing just the collection of edges which is being cut by the partition. So it is E2 is being cut. Similarly, 3, 5 is being cut. So 3, 5 is your E4. And is there any other edge which is being cut by this particular partition? So 2, 4, 4, 5 is fully contained in this particular part. So what about 2, 3? So there is no other edge. So this partition give me this cut of edges. Now let's talk about, if you understand everything with the first case, so let's go with the other case. So can you tell me which is the cut set coming out of this particular partition? So E1 is being cut or not? E1 is being cut. So 1 is on one side and 2 is on the other part. So E1 is being cut. Okay, then what about E2? E2 is being cut. What about E3? E3 is being cut. What about E4? 3, 5. It is not. And what about E5? E5 is being cut. Yeah. And what about E6? So E6 is not being cut. So you can see that for a partition of the vertex set, for a given partition, it gives rise to a cut set. And this is a very famous problem in graph theory, extremal graph theory. Those who are, I do understand there is some audience who are particularly interested in the problems in graph theory. So this is declared as one of the NP hard problem in graph theory. where people are, okay, the problem states that what should be the partition of the vertices for a given family of the graph that give rise to the maximum cut set. So it's about maximizing optimality of the cut set. But here I'm not going to discuss anything about this particular problem. I hope the partition, yeah. Yeah, the partition, okay, this is a good point. Okay, we cut the vertex at, okay, the problem states that you need to cut the vertices only in this way. I hope this answers your question. Only in this way, only in the two parts. But this is a very good point. What about if I partition the graph in the singleton? So that gives the maximum cut. And to be very honest, the graph, this, yeah. Yeah, I just want to, because this motivation, this is one of the problem in graph theory. I'm just stating the problem and why this problem relate to our that is something which is coming. More interesting. Okay, the graph theory, yeah. The graph theorist, in graph theory, there are many problems which are related to the extremality or optimality of a particular set. And this particular problem has a penalty of application in networking and data structures and these kind of studies here. And that is the motivation why theoretical computer scientists or graph theory are basically working in building some algorithm which give rise to the which give rise to maximality of the cut set. Okay, this is a problem from graph theory. And now coming to the algebra part. Yeah. So not really. You mean okay, I select A as a vertex cover, and then in this case that is going to give, not always the case, not always the case. But I'm just leaving this problem here and I'm moving to algebra part. So Strumpfels. So you have heard this name time and time again, and this particular name too, and Sullivan. Strumpfels and Sullivan, they use this particular concept and associated an algebra coming out of the this cut set of the graph. And this particular ideal is none other than the one which is discussed quite widely in this particular SIMPA school. This is a toric ideal and toric algebra, which is coming out of this particular structure. So how they relate it with this particular idea? So okay, now let uh, now the formal part. Now let G be a graph, and definitely I'm assuming only finite and simple. So all my graphs are finite and simple with vertex at V of G and edge set E of G, and the partition. Okay, it is written there in their paper with AB, but I prefer to write it with AAC. So B is always A complement, right? When you take one set, the other set is already determined. So AA complement BN uh, unordered partition of the vertex set of G, and each such a partition Each such partition defines cut set which is AAC. So you can see that each partition is giving you this particular set. So for instance, this is A2 complement, and here I can say that this is cut of A1 complement. So each
Correct, Imran?
partition, yeah,
Is there any condition on A that A cannot be singleton? Because if A is
A
singleton,
can
then
be singleton, even A can be empty set too. This is a good question. So there is no condition on A. So you are going to partition the vertex set only in two parts. So A and A complement, right? So A can be empty set. A can be the whole set. So I hope you understand. And A can be singleton. You will see in more examples.
okay, but
So
this maximum cut problem then becomes
yeah,
easier.
definitely. Now from this part of the board, I will be only sticking to the algebra aspect. So
Okay.
the graph theory problem is there. So we are not going to address the max cut problem or maximizing the cut set. So this is not our intention. Our intention is to relate an algebra, a toric algebra, a toric variety associated to a graph.
Okay. And I want to just to know the philosophy why you are attaching some algebra on a graph. What is the reason behind it?
Okay, this is the real business of research in algebra. So particularly in the area of combinatorial commutative algebra, people are related different algebra which has a combinatorial structure, and that combinatorial structure give a complete characterization of the algebra coming out of this particular structure. So you will see many statements of the theorems which I'm going to describe what Strumfels and Sullivan came up to. So they are all combinatorial. So they are addressing seriously hard algebraic part, and the answer is hidden in the combinatorial structure of the graph. So this is a benefit, and definitely toric variety is one of the central part of the study of algebraic geometry. You understand? Okay. Uh, okay. Please wait. You will see more things. Okay. Regarding to your question, so every time you do a partition into two part, so if this is A, what is this part?
Okay, so you are like saying A and A complement.
Yeah. Is there something else can come? No. Any set can be partitioned into two part by a set and by a subset and its complement. That's it.
Question is
Just a
notation,
notation.
like
Yeah.
this
A complement.
vertical bar or union.
Sorry. It is just a line. There's a standard way of mentioning the partition. If we are partitioning a particular set, so this is okay. This is a standard way of doing. This is a standard notation of the partition, the straight line. Okay. The notation was confusing you. Okay. Sorry.
What do you mean by partition defines a cut?
So
We
this
define
was
cut on a
okay.
partition.
Listen, this is the partition 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are partitioning this particular set into two parts, right? And this partitioning is cutting what? The edge set. So all those edges which are being cut by this particular partition.
That,
Every partition, there is a cut set. Okay. So every partition gives you a cut set. Clear? Everything is okay? Okay. So each such partition defines a cut, AAC. Okay. And this is an unordered partition. And this particular cut is, you have seen here. So you can see, what is this cut set? This is a subset of the edge set. Okay. which is a subset of the edge set of the graph, and such that now the mathematical description such that ij belongs to the cut AAC. This implies that if and only if I is in A and J is in A complement, or vice versa. So I is in A complement and J is in A. So simply only those edges will become a member of the cut set which is being cut by the partition. Okay, so far so good. Now what they have done, so for each uh, cut set, for each cut AAC, we can associate a variable. We can associate a variable to the edges according to whether. So when you did the partition and when you obtain the cut set, so then there are only two types of edges. So one who become a member of the cut set and one who does not belong to the cut set. So for instance, for this particular partition, E2 and E4 become the members of the cut set, but rest of the one are not the members of the cut set. Similarly, for this particular partition, these are the members of the cut set, and what about the others are does not belong to the member of the cut set. So he said that for each cut AAC, we can associate a variable to the edges according to whether they are in the cut of AAC or not. And thus the coordinate coordinates QAAC. So this is the variable we are associating with each cut QAAC are indexed by unordered partitions AAC, and while the variables IJ is in the cut are SIJ and TIJ otherwise. Okay, let me this is a theoretical part, but when I do the example, everything will be clear. So this thing is symbol for separated. S stand for separated. T stand for together. So he says that you have a coordinate ring. So let me just complete, and I think then everything will be clear. And the variety, everything will be clear once I complete the whole picture. The variety xg, that is a variety we are associating with the particular graph. We call it xg, which is known as the cut variety, which is known as the cut variety of G is specified by the following homomorphism. Okay, the homomorphism is something like that. Please, this is the crux of all this particular discussion. This is nothing just a polynomial ring where you are assigning the variable as given with all the cuts which are coming through the partition QAAC. So these are the variables there, where AAC is a partition. Yeah, is a partition of vertex set of G, and you are sending them to another polynomial ring, but this time this polynomial ring is being indexed by Sij and Tij, and where Ij is an edge. So I will write this particular ring for that particular example. Yeah, let me complete first. Yeah. Why I am talking about? Okay, an answer to your question. You just whenever I say that you are going to partition a set into two subsets, what will be the relation between these two? A and A complement. That's it. They are not going to be A, A, B. But now the question arises: how many partitions are possible? Can you tell me how many partitions are possible? So this is again, if I write A, B, this is something which is not so clearly determinable. But if I write A, A, C, this is quite easy to determine because everything is determined by A, and A is a subset of the vertex set of G, and vertex set of G has 5 members. How many subset it has? How many subset? 2 power sets. Power set has 2 power 5 many subsets. So I am taking unordered partition. That means half of them are already covered. If you cover the half, the next half is already covered. If you don't understand this point, so for instance, someone says that if I take A is equal to 1, so A complement, then A complement will be this particular A gives me this particular partition. Right? But if I take A is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, I get the same partition. So half of the partitions are going to be determined by the other half. So how many partitions, yani how many cut I will get? So they are nothing, just 2, 5 divided by 2, half of them. Okay, and even the empty set, Danish, an answer to your question, even I can assume A is equal to the empty set. Then in that case, A complement is the whole vertex set. Got it? So A can be empty set. So, but now in order to construct this particular algebra, I have to take all possible partitions, all possible partitions. Okay. So for this particular graph, this is going to be, so partitions are going to be 2 to the raised power 4. That means 16 partitions. So regarding to each partition, I have a queue there. Okay. And regarding to every queue, I'm going to map it to, okay, now let's talk about the ring which is on the right side. So I think if I go here, then the video will capture this. So for this particular part now, please try to understand this particular ring. For the same graph, how many edges it has? 6 edges. So it means that if I'm going to write the same ring for that particular, so for the given example, yeah, just let me finish. For the given example, this particular ring is going to be K. Okay, so Sij, you can, I'm going to, okay. So just tell me first edge is E1, right? E1 is in between 1, 2. So this is S12, T12. So every edge will give you 2 variables. Similarly, next edge, please tell me. So E2 kiske bhi in between 2 and 4. So S24, T24. And similarly, next one, 4, 5. So S45, T45. And S35 and T35, S16, ये visible नहीं है. S16, 13, S23. I am relying on your information. Okay, I hope this is correct. So the ring which is appearing on the right hand side is this one. Okay, so everything is clear. This ring is clear. This ring is clear. So every partition, so there are 16 partition for that particular graph. So regarding to every partition, I have a queue. Okay. What's Q? Q is just a notation, just a variable. Okay. Let me just let's write all Q. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to explain. This is going to be given by the map which I didn't define yet. I'm just yeah. I'm going to allow me. Okay. 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 Please now see what how we are calling this queue for the same A. So first partition is no partition. That means I'm taking A to be empty set. Okay. And in that particular case, so how many vertices are there? 5 vertices. So I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one is this one. The second one, if I go with this partition, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then Q 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. And in this way, you mention all the 16. Okay, the distinct one. Got it? And now this is now a question. What is this Q? This is the same as indeterminate X in a polynomial ring. So this is another indeterminate indexed by the partition. Yeah, there should, I already mentioned that. If you are taking the distinct partition, so for instance, this is the same as 2, 3, 4, 5, because this is an unordered partition. So I have order doesn't matter here. Okay, so they are the same. So if you write down all the partition which is determined by a subset of A, so they are 32, and they are double folded. Yani 16s are repeated. Okay. So basically, now everything is clear with the variables of this particular ring and the variables of this particular ring. So how many variable it has? Now a quick quiz. How many variables? Looking at the edge set, how many variables are there? So in terms of the edges, count of the edges of the graph, double of the edges. So the count of the indeterminate is nothing just a double of the edge set of the graph. So far, so good. Everything is okay. So this is okay. This is the work of algebraists. So they see something in graph theory. They develop every scenario so that the variety popped up, and the variety is going to pop up through this particular map. And this particular map is sending a particular partition, a particular QAAC, because this is a K-algebra homomorphism. So it is going to be determined by how you are treating the indeterminates. And this is going to be, sorry, by SI, if I, Sij, if I and J belong to the cut, cut AAC, and phi Ij belongs to the edge set of the graph, excluding the cut AAC. And here you will write Tij. Okay, the game is quite simple, very simple. Let me just describe. Is it not visible? Let me just explain it. So that's why I write this one in the pink, and this one is in this particular way. So let's look at that particular example. Please note me that particular one. The first one, the partition is Q. What is A there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is the partition we have. And now I need to determine where this partition is going, okay, under this particular map. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is partitioning the set E2 and E4. So regarding to E2, so can you tell me E2, which vertex is 2, 4? So 2, 4 is separated by this cut. And what is E4? E4 is 3, 5. 3, 5. Okay, what about the others? This map says that all those edges which are not being separated by the variable, by the cut, they should be assigned the value T. So because you for every edge you have a pair here. So for every edge you have a pair. So you need to select one of S and T. And if it is being cut, then you pick S, but you can't pick the two at the same time under this particular map. So if they are separated, so S24, so this one is already written, this is cut, and S35 is written. So for the rest one, we will write T. So this is the product of, so this is the product T1, 2, and then, T4, 5, 1, 3, and 2, 3. This is this particular map. Now is it clear? So every partition gives you a map. Either you are using S, either you are using T. And the count of the variables in this particular set is nothing, just how many edges you have. So for every edge, either you label S or T, and seeing the status of that particular edge under the partition. I hope everything is clear so far. So now, in the previous week, there are large number of lectures have been given on toric varieties, and toric varieties always appear most of the time in algebra as a kernel of some homomorphism. So we have developed a homomorphism. Now it's time to see the toric variety. So the toric variety is nothing, just the kernel of this particular map. So the cut ideal, so the cut ideal IG is the kernel, of the map phi G, and it is moreover, it is a homogeneous toric ideal. It is a homogeneous toric ideal, and uh, I think everything is clear. So the degree of this particular ideal is equal to the H set of the graph. So
Dr. Imran,
yeah,
how you get that this ideal will be a toric ideal?
this is proven. This is the main thing. This is proven by Strumfeld. They showed it. Strumfeld and Sullivan. So they construct this particular algebra and they showed that this particular ideal is a toric ideal. Okay.
Yes, just I want to know how we
I,
check
I will
that
show
any
you. I
ideal.
will show you some simple example. So this is time to see more example to see how the things are coming here and how the toric is appearing. Okay. I will show more example. I will show more example.
Okay, okay.
So before moving forward, so just addressing this particular, so I have few more example to show you so that you can seriously trust me that this is a toric ideal. I hope the whole built-up is okay and you followed till the definition of this particular ideal. And let's see some, and this paper appeared in 2008, and since then, and this paper contains a lot of conjectures and many open problems. And that's why this area is now, the theory of cut ideal is very well addressed by algebraic geometer and combinatorial commutative algebra. And there are different theories, and it has a very strong connection with our problem, algebra retract. We got a new algebra. Now the main problem is when the retraction can occur and how the things are addressed in this particular theory. So let's see some more examples, maybe give you a sense of feeling. So the most difficult part, definitely just like any other toric ideal, is to compute this particular kernel. And uh, the good thing is that very few paper you have seen in the area of combinatorial commutative algebra where author has given a bunch of example in 5 vertices, because you can see that the generators are growing exponentially. If you increase the graph, you increase the edges and vertices, so things keep on piling. And I have a table, I think in the same paper, they have given a table of the graph where some of the things, even for 5 vertices, were not computable through Macaulay 2, but not computable because the data grows exponentially. Okay, for example, let G is equal to, yeah, what is your question, Rizwan? No, the answer to his question is going to be given by through these examples. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly the same thing is going to appear. It's just about the first SAG kind of relationship between the generators and how they are being related and give rise to the toric variety. Yeah, exactly the same case. When I take the difference, then I can make a binomial. Yeah, things are something like that, and you just see this example. So what you are saying, you are speculating the thing, and there is a concrete example for that. Sorry, it is not quadratic, so for sure. This is not quadratic. It is going to have the degree is same as the h side of the graph. You understand? Quadratic mean all binomials are having the power 2, right? The variable. They are homogeneous, but they are not quadratic in general. Please allow me to present the examples first so that you can. So at the moment, I'm just trying to give you an answer, the idea, but the concrete example is going to clear everything. Okay? No, no, it's okay. So this is good that you are predicting how the things are going. But example will, so this is the example, let G is equal to K4, the complete graph on 4 vertices. And on the vertex set, and H set, so I can write, please forgive me for 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4. We people only follow proper procedures when we are writing the paper. Other than that, we are mentioning edges like this. Okay. So 1, 3, 1, 4. So the ring map phi K4, the same map phi for K4 is specified by, if you understand everything, then you need to tell me. So firstly, I have to address all the partition. So firstly, the partition is 1, 2, 3, 4. So everything is by 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Q 1, 2. This is a good exercise for you, but I'm mentioning only few, not all. Q 1, 3, 2, 4. Q 1, 4, 2, 3. And the rest one is Q of 1, 2, 3, 4. The next partition is Q2, 1, 3, 4. And then Q3, 1, 2, 4. And Q1, 4, 2, 3. Is already addressed. Yeah, 1, 4, 2, 3 is here. So 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, singleton I was dealing. 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, can you tell me what is this? So Q1, 2, 3, 4 under the map phi, it is going to all S. So everything is together. T1, T12, T13, T14. So nothing is separated, right? T23, T24, T34. So now 1, 2. 1, 2 is separated or together? Together. 2, 3, 1, 3. 1, 3 is separated. 1, 3 is separated because one of the vertex is here and the other vertex is here. 1, 3 is separated. And now 1, 4. Separated here. And now 1, 4, 2, 3. Separated. And then next thing is 2, 4. 2, 4 is separated. And 3, 4 is together. And this is a good exercise if you keep on writing all these. So I'm leaving it to you to fill in these details. So anyone in the room who doesn't understand this idea, okay, would like to try? Okay, I'm leaving it over here. Okay, the main thing, the cut ideal. The cut ideal for the complete graph K4 is the principal ideal which is of this particular type IK4, and the kernel comprises on Q1, 2, 3, 4, Q1, 2, 3, 4, Q1, 3, 2, 4, and Q1, 4, 2, 3 minus all these Q1, 2, 3, 4, Q2, 1, 3, 4, Q3, 1, 2, 4, and the next one, it's 4, 1, 2, 3. And this is the ideal generated by this one. And this particular ideal is a toric variety, and it's a quadric. So you can, it's a hypersurface. Will give rise to a hypersurface in P7, projective space 7. Okay, you can see that the variables are giving you, so in the affine case, they are 8 variables, so compactification give rise to P7. Okay, so everything is clear. So the computing, so Danish, I hope now you can see this kind of ideal. So these ideals are binomials, and an answer to the question, they are not quadratic at all. You can see that the degree in terms of, if I'm going with the standard degree, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's degree 4. It's a quartic toric ideal. This is one example. And the computing of this particular ideal is just like any other toric ideal, is not so straightforward, and one has to use computer softwares in order to do that. Sorry? Not necessarily. There are other examples too. Not necessarily. So it is a good, I'm leaving this thing. So leave as an exercise. So compute I C4, where C4 is your cyclic graph in 4 vertices. So just try to compute this particular ideal. So because now I don't want to say much about this particular algebra, but I would like to directly go toward our main problem, retraction problem. Okay, and the retraction problem regarding to cut ideals. Okay, I should mention one conjecture. There are a series of conjectures. Let me go through those. I think there are lots of interest in the algebra. So let me just state all those questions who are still open for the cut ideals. So I should say open problem or series of conjectures which is given in the same paper. And some of those has been addressed for particular cases, but they are widely open. So for the most important conjecture or the most famous conjecture is this one. The cut algebra which is denoted by Kg, which is the basically the quotient of KQIJ, KQAA quotient with this cut ideal I of G. This cut algebra is Cohen-Macaulay. If and only if G is free of K5 minor. Okay, those who are not familiar with the minor of a graph, just for them, this is if you are given with a particular graph, so you can obtain the subgraph of that particular graph by multiple ways. One way is by deleting an edge, will give rise, and then contracting an edge. So if you keep on performing this particular operation, either we are contracting an edge or deleting an edge. So the new graph, which is obtained by a series of operation, that particular graph is called the minor of the original graph. This is the definition. So I'm not going into the detail. And it says that if you started with the graph and you don't obtain K5 after deleting and contracting an edges, then the associated algebra of that particular graph is Cohen-Macaulay. Okay, this is a conjecture which is still open. Then there are some simple results, apparently simple, but they are not simple. A problem which is a good problem is the one, this is by Herzog. The good problem is the one which you can explain to anyone, which require very small keywords, but attacking to that particular problem is not so straightforward. So it is one of that. Then if H is obtained if H is obtained from G by deleting an edge, then number of generators. Okay, this is when we are studying the toric algebra. So the count of the generator is so IC4 I leave as an exercise, but this is not an easy exercise. So in K4 this is principal ideal, but this is not. It has like 8 generators. So through Macaulay too. And so it means that the count of generator is not so straightforward in this particular idea. So this result states that so mu of I of H, the count of generators of this particular ideal is less than or equal to the count of the generators of the original ideal. So because in the same paper, they give many examples, and some very simple graph give rise to even 1,000 generators as well. And this is the conjecture they stated there, and which is still open in this particular algebra. Then these are all open problems. And I think I will discuss other open problem in the research discussion session, but I should address one problem. Tim Romer and Sarah Madani, who is also one of the speaker of this SIMPA school, they address this particular problem. If H is a subgraph of G, under what condition, or in other words, which subgraph of the original graph G give rise to algebra retract if I go with the same notation, so okay, K of H. Okay, I should say that this is K of H and this is K of G. So give rise to an algebra retract between the algebras, the cut algebras of the original graph and that subgraph, and the result is the theorem. At least they constructed one. So this problem is also widely open. They give a special construction of the subgraph which give rise to an algebra retract. And by using that particular construction, one can find other construction which are equivalent to the given construction and find the algebra retract. And the problem is still, this problem is still open. It is not fully answered. And even the counterexample is not known in this case. So find an H, which is a subgraph of the original graph. But the K of H is not an algebra retract of K of G. No such example is known or given in the paper, but the theorem is something like that, what they come up with. it involves a lot of keywords. I just go through the result and then let's see if we get some time. Let G be a graph and H be a neighborhood minor of G, then K of H is an algebra retract of K of G. Now, what is a neighborhood minor? So I keep this neighborhood minor description because I'm running out of time. So I keep this description maybe for the discussion session if we have today or get some time or maybe some other time. Maybe tomorrow in the research discussion session, I will explain what is neighborhood minor and what kind of similar construction which is given. So this is one of the most important result which is known. So anyone come up with a counter example in this particular case, okay, give a construction of a subgraph which is not going to give you uh, an algebra retract. This is not known in this particular cut algebras. Yeah. Yeah, in the paper of both of them, and the paper is, I think it appeared in 2015. It is available. So the title of the paper is Algebra Retract of Cut Algebras. Let me just, to be on the safe side. Yeah, the paper is in the European Journal of Combinatorics, and the title of the paper is, okay, Retract and Algebraic Properties of the Cut Algebras. Retracts and Algebraic Properties of the Cut Algebras by Tim Romer and Sara Saidi Madani. So it appeared in European Journal of Combinatorics in 2017. One last remark. This is the toric version of the cut algebra. 2 years ago, 2020, I think 3 years ago now, one of the student of Jürgen Herzog, they come up with an idea of defining the cut monomial ideals. Now we have a monomial version of it. And regarding to every graph, one can associate a monomial ideal, which is not necessarily a toric case. So when that paper appears, so there was a natural quest of addressing the same set of questions which are there for the toric algebra for the monomial case. And one of the central problem in this particular case is again the retract case, and that problem is addressed already. And the paper, that was my intention to present those particular results too, but now I will restrain only to this part. But still, in the toric case, many things are unknown. We don't know the answers of these questions, and you can find many papers who are still available. Those for those who got interested to attack a problem through combinatorial ways. So this is one of a very important problem. And the good thing is that to start any problem, you need good bunch of examples. So in the paper of Stromfels and Sullivan, at least, okay, I can't write this thing. So in the 5 vertices case, they have given a full table, and which gives the detail of projective dimension, degree of the graph, and even the degree, just to tell you, those who were saying that is a quadratic. So degree for a certain construction of the graph in 9 vertices, it is 1152. And in many cases, projected dimension, Macaulay 2 refuses to. So the algebra is not so straightforward. So those who are interested in working in this particular direction, so this paper of Stromfels and Sullivan gives you a good bunch of examples to have a sense of feeling to start working in that direction. That's it. Title of the paper of Bernard, Strumpfels, and Sullivan, toric geometry of cut and splits. Toric geometry of cut and splits. It appeared in 2007. So if we name this conference as Strumpfel Sullivan conference, so it would not be wrong. There are too many things which are given by Sullivan and Strumpfels. Okay.
Is there any further question? Because we have already done a lot of questions.
Yeah. आप इधर स्क्रीन नीचे करें इमरान स्क्रीन ओके So not one type of okay, only two partition. Okay, this is an interesting question. I don't know. Probably okay. This cut max cut problem is only dealing the partitioning of the vertex set into two. Yeah. So she's asking, is it possible to construct an algebra or similar kind of structure involving three partitions? So that particular the three or four or maybe general. So in general, no such algebra exists. As per my knowledge, so yeah, I don't know. Even for only this simple partition, the things are not so straightforward. Yeah. Okay. Okay. But thank you. Okay, what do you want to say about? Can we discuss afterward? Because we are already 5 minutes late. I'm sorry
Okay,
for
is there any
our time.
question from the IBA Karachi?
No question, but I have a remark here. If
Yeah, sure.
somebody is asked question from love side, so please ask them to speak on the speaker.
Okay.
Because अभी जो भी comment या question आ रहा था हमें सुनाई नहीं दे रहा.
Okay. The question was about the one I already stated, and that yes, definitely, we will request all the participants to speak in the mic.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So let's thank the speaker. Okay, now we have a tea break and then we will continue at 11.
Yes.
Questions